We got a lot of stuff on the docket today. We obviously got NBA playing. Now that it's over and done with, we'll run down the games one by one. We also got the NHL playoffs starting today, the NBA playoffs starting today. We got some other news out of the NBA, some stuff I want to get into about the NFL. And we also got two other segments, one being my picks for today and tomorrow for both the NHL and the NBA playoffs. And I just want to remind you guys again, you can hear Elite Sports Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So I guess there's nothing really left to say except let's go ahead and get into it. So, as you just seen, those were all the games. Let's go back and start to the beginning of the week when we had the Orlando Magic and the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, we didn't expect to see Joel Embiid, and we thought maybe it would be, somewhat difficult without having his presence. The Sixers fared, pretty well without him. And Tyrese Maxey is just, again, showing why he was much deserved to be an NBA All-Star this year. He went off for 31 points in this one. For Orlando, I mean, Desmond Bane actually showed up and showed out himself. He also had 30-plus points, 34 to be exact. Paolo Banchero had 18 points. You could have got a little bit more from him. Franz Wagner had 12 points. Other than that, the biggest guy other than that was off the bench, Anthony Black, with 13, 6, and 3. And then you look back at the 76ers, Kelly Oubre with 19 points and 3 rebounds and 1 assist. The rookie, VJ Edgecombe, who I've been talking about all year long, 19 and 11. Paul George sprinkled in 16, 5, and 5. And then Andre Drummond, who, really the game was already in hand, but Andre Drummond with that 3 that he made with about, couple minutes remaining in the game, that was really the final nail in the coffin for the 76ers. He ended up with a double-double, 14 and 10. And, it was very cool to see that, and AI was there in person. He surely loved that, to see the Sixers finally getting back to a playoff run that hopefully, it depends what's going to happen, how quick Joel Embiid could come back. I know how great the Celtics are, and a lot of people are favoring them, certainly in the East, with the inexperience level of the Detroit Pistons. But, if you can hope to push to a Game 7 with Boston, I think that you're in a great space there, because then if Embiid could somehow come back for a Game 7, then they may go to the next round. You don't know, man. You really don't know what's going to happen from one game to the next. Last year, it still looked like the Knicks were going to wrap the series up anyhow last year against Boston. But had Tatum not have gone down, again, you never know, man. Anything can happen in the sports world. And so the next game I believe it was the same day, later that night. Golden State Warriors beat the Los Angeles Clippers. And for much of that game, the Clippers looked like they were actually going to take that one. I was actually rooting for the Clippers in that one. Nothing against Golden State, but to see Kawhi Leonard to do something has never been done before. A team was below 500 by 15 games and came all the way back and ended up over 500, only by 2 games. They were 42 and 40 this year, but especially after the trade, sending James Harden away, Zumbach getting traded away. So it kind of looked like they were starting to give up on the season, and still they made it this far. So I think, that's still something that needs to be said. Going into next year, we really don't know what's going to happen. There's already rumors out there. Maybe Kawhi might get traded. I certainly hope not. But, so Golden State ended up victorious in this one. Curry went off, same Steph that we know, 35 points, 7 of 12 from 3. Porzingis also had a good game, 25 and 5. Santos also had 20 points with 6 and 5. Pajeski also had 17, 7 and 2. And Draymond with 9 dimes, 7 points, and 6 rebounds. Horford, 14 off the bench. It's funny too because he hadn't been shooting well, especially from 3-point range. And in this game, man, he really gave them that extra oomph, that little something that they needed to push them over the top. They only ended up winning by 5. But for the Clippers, it was kind of a meltdown. Specifically with Kawhi, he went from, I believe he had 15 or 16 points in the first half alone. Looked like he was going to have a monstrous game. He only ended up with 21, 7 and 3. He only had 1 bucket in the fourth quarter, and it was like, I believe it was around a minute left in the game. So you can't help but wonder, man, if he would have stayed, as consistent as that first half, not only would they have won, but they probably would have ended up winning by like 10 points. For the majority of that game, they were actually up by 10 points. I think it was like 3 or 4 different times in that game. So, that was, it was a really good game. It was, but it just didn't look like it was going to be Golden State's game to take. So let's get to the next game now. Obviously, that Miami Heat and Charlotte Hornets game. If you missed that one, you missed a great game, an incredible game out of Charlotte. And, there was, obviously, there was some stuff that's been going around. If you've seen the game and you've seen what happened, at one point, LaMelo Ball, he ended up falling to the ground, and he says that he hit his head, and it looked like, people were saying that he grabbed Adebayo's leg and, pulled him down. To me, I watched that, 5-10 times, something like that, and it actually looked more like, instead of he completely grabbed his leg, it looked more like he kind of, swept his leg out from under him. Then there was a whole thing about, because LaMelo said that he hit his head, he didn't know where he was. So obviously, that's call for cause that, maybe he had a concussion. Either way, it's a shame that they did lose Bam at that point in the game, because there was still plenty of time left. But I want to say that was in the second or third quarter. I forget exactly when that happened, but again, this game went all the way to OT, and Charlotte only ended up winning by 1 point. But LaMelo had an amazing game, even after supposedly hitting his head and could have been possibly concussed. He ended up with 30 points, 10 dimes, and 5 rebounds. Miles Bridges had 28, 9, and 2. That was also very impressive. We hadn't really seen Bridges like that, I feel like, in a while. I don't watch every Hornets game, but I just feel like it's been a little while since he's really went off with numbers like this. They had so many people really do so many things in this game to help out Kobe White. He was, I think he was the one that actually hit the 3 that got them into OT. 19, 5, and 3 off the bench from him. Brandon Miller with 23, 5, and 5. Let's see, on the other side here, Miami had Tyler Harrow with 23, 3, and 6. Wiggins, 27, 3, and 2. Mitchell had 28, 4, and 6. Khalil Ware had a double-double with 12 points and 19 rebounds. And I like him, man. He's going to be, I think he's going to be a superstar. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 13, 6, and 8 off the bench. I mean, that was honestly my favorite game so far out of all the playing games. I mean, now the playing games are obviously over, but... And then where was Portland? I wanted to run down Portland too real quick. So that was a really good game as well. Denny Avdija, he had 41 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. He was obviously the player of the game. Drew Holiday, 21, 4, and 4. Scoot Henderson, 9, 3, and 2. Jeremy Grant, 16, and 2. Rebounds. Robert Williams III, he wasn't effective in terms of scoring, but he did have 7 rebounds. He only had 1 bucket, but he also had 1 steal, 1 block, 1 assist. Shaden Sharp had 12 points. Phoenix in that game, Jalen Green had 35, 5, and 2. And see, that's exactly what, prior to him getting traded from Houston, that's what they were hoping from him, to be that type of guy, pretty much almost game in and game out. Obviously, we've seen how that worked out. They swapped him for KD. Devin Booker, he had 22, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Dylan Brooks had 20 points himself with 7 rebounds. And Jordan Goodwin had 12 and 4 for them. Royce O'Neal off the bench, 7, 8, and 3 with 4 steals. So yeah, that's pretty much it there. But like the crazy thing with that game with Portland, so it also kind of looked at times that Portland was going to lose that game. They ended up going on a 17-5 run to take Phoenix down. And then we'll get to now last night. The first game was Orlando and Charlotte, and boy, this was not close. Charlotte, they went from, great with that last game. I mean, it was halftime. They had 37 points. It was terrible, man. It was terrible to see. If you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, I feel for you. It's just not what you would have expected. And I mean, Orlando is a very tough team. That defense was incredible, man. It was a very physical game. And, I mean, we don't really have to break down all the numbers, but Paolo Banchero, 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Lonzo. Listen to me. LaMelo Ball had 23, 2, and 5. And outside of that, I mean, Bridges had 15 points. Brandon Miller had 14. It was just... It's not what you would have hoped to see. Like, I really thought that Charlotte, this was going to be the year that they were going to get in. And regardless if they would have or not, I mean, if they would have got in, they would have ended up having to play, Detroit? Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough to see that. But hopefully next year they'll be a little bit better. Hopefully next year they won't have to worry about the play-in. And, I don't know, maybe we could see them go on a little bit of a run, maybe win one series. That'd be really cool to see, especially with as many young kids as that they have that seem like they're all going to be good. Con Knippel, everybody's seen how great he was this year. He probably, I don't know if he will, if he's going to get it over Cooper Flagg, but he may wind up getting Rookie of the Year. We'll have to wait and see, but from the graphics that I've seen, from what everybody's talking about, it looks like it's pretty much neck and neck there, and it could go either way. Had Cooper Flagg have been able to play more games, then Cooper probably would have already locked the Rookie of the Year up. Maybe not. But yeah, we'll have to wait to see. And then last night was kind of another heartbreaker, unless you're obviously a Phoenix Suns fan. Golden State Warriors, they... it was tough, man. It was tough to see. You know, if they would have been hitting their threes, I mean, it could have been a completely different game. Curry was only 30%, 3 of 10 from 3. He only ended up with 17 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Porzingis, he didn't really seem like he really played a lot. He only had 11 points. Draymond, 5, 2, and 6. I mean, Melton had 16, 8, and 3 off the bench. Horford had 9, 5, and 2. It just wasn't enough. Brandon Podjeski is the one that led them in points with 23 and 10. He had a double-double. And he went 3 of 5 from 3. But once they got down, they were down by 20, I think, 2 or 3 different times, at least 20 points. It was kind of sad to see that, because we don't know what's going to happen from here. Steve Kerr, I believe that was his last year on his deal. I think same thing with Draymond. And, it looked like maybe they had one last run in them with all that, those champions that were on that team. Obviously Horford and Porzingis, Curry himself and Green have won so many championships. So that could honestly be, I don't want to say the end of a dynasty, because it kind of already felt that way anyhow. I mean, we're talking about a team that hasn't been to the finals in like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So, actually it might have even been longer than that, maybe 6 years. So, I mean, still, kind of the end of a dynasty, because if Draymond don't come back, Kerr, if he ends up leaving, I don't know. But one thing, Curry ain't going nowhere. So, they might just kind of bring more pieces in around him again and try to lift it back up. But I don't know. The Western Conference is extremely tough right now with all the other teams. The Spurs, the Lakers, if they would have been healthy right now, went on quite a run. Obviously, OKC, the champions, the Denver Nuggets, they're always in the mix for a championship run. But Jalen Green, like I was saying before, very consistent. Both of these playing games, he had over 30. He had 36, 6, and 4 last night. Devin Booker, actually I expected more from Booker. He only ended up with 26 and 8, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Goodwin had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Brooks only had 13 points, but he's just got that physical presence that's, just having him out there is going to help. Let's see, Royce O'Neal was the best one for them off the bench with 11 points. He hit a couple of threes. He was only 3 of 10, but still he hit a couple of threes down the stretch that really kind of put it out of reach there. So that's kind of how the cookie crumbles with the play-in tournament. And now we're going to shift a little bit here and get to the NHL. So everything's set up for the NHL right now. We know what all the matchups are going to be. We were just waiting on the Pacific to figure things out with seeding, as prior to Thursday, there were still some question marks between who was going to be the second seed in the Pacific, between Edmonton, Anaheim, and Los Angeles Kings. Then we were also waiting to see who was going to get that second wild card spot, so we knew who Colorado was going to face. So it's going to be a crazy playoffs for both sports. But NHL, there's some of these series could honestly really go either way. They're pretty close. So Buffalo is going to be playing Boston in the first round. And in the regular season series, Boston actually won 3-1 and outscored Buffalo only by 1 goal, 12-11. Then you got Tampa Bay and Montreal, which that was another one. They were fighting until the very last game to see who was going to wind up getting the second seed in the Atlantic Division. And Tampa ends up getting home ice. That series in the regular season was actually split two apiece. and Tampa outscored them by 2 goals, 13-11. Carolina is going to be playing the Ottawa Senators, which, if you just go back just a few weeks, it didn't even look like Ottawa was going to be in the playoffs. There were so many teams that were stacked for that second wild card spot. Boston kind of had it for like a month or so, it seemed like. But that second wild card, it kept bouncing around just like it was in the Western Conference. Regular season, Carolina actually bested them 2-1, but only had one more goal, 11-10. Then you have the Battle of the Keystone State, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers, and this was also a split in the regular season series, 2 games apiece. Although it should probably be noted that both of the games that Philly won were in extra time, so they didn't outright beat Pittsburgh. Which, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything by saying that. That's just what happened. And Pittsburgh did outscore the Flyers 16-11. Then you get to the Western Conference. Like I just mentioned, Colorado is going to be playing the Kings. It was a season sweep for Colorado, 3-0. And they also outscored the Kings 13-5. So, I mean, for somebody like Kopitar, it's nice to see him one last time, as he did say he's retiring now at the end of this year. So it's nice for him to see him back in the postseason. However, if we're being realistic, I'm sorry, Kings fans, but they don't really stand a shot. And, I mean, I'll be generous and give them a gentleman's sweep, but they could very well just end up getting swept 4-0. Dallas, Minnesota, regular season, that was a split series, 2-2. And Dallas, that was actually 13 goals apiece. So it was literally split right down the middle in every way, shape, or form. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Their first game, I believe, is today, later tonight. And I'm not going to get to my picks right now. I was going to just say who I think, but we'll save that. I'm going to give my picks later, but I'm only going to do it per game, so I'm not going to do the whole series. If I had to guess, though, right now up front, because I feel like it's going to be very close. It might go down to 7 games. I don't know, man. You don't want to bet against either one of these teams. For this series, though, maybe I would say Dallas. But then you got Vegas Golden Knights playing the Utah Mammoth. And the Mammoth actually took this series 1-2, I believe, in the regular season. And they also outscored Vegas 10-5. And then you, of course, have the Battle of the Pacific, Edmonton Oilers, Anaheim Ducks. That's the one that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the closest. Anaheim Ducks, like I've mentioned before, that is my team. Although it is kind of strange because past 2 years I've really been cheering for the Edmonton Oilers. I would have hoped that we wouldn't have had to see them until a little bit later in the playoffs, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. Edmonton took the regular season series 2-1, and they outscored Anaheim by 4 goals, 16-12. And, what's most exciting is if you are a Ducks fan, or if you are a Flyers fan, I think, because I just know off the top of my head, for the Flyers, it's been 5-6 years, something like that, since they've been back to the playoffs. For Anaheim, it's been a very long time. MVP is going back and forth, McDavid and Kucherov. It looks like, from what I've seen, people were saying that Kucherov has a slight edge. I still think it should be McDavid, but I don't know. I mean, it's a very close race, just like the MVP race in the NBA, although I think it's not as close there. But, let's see. Oh, and another thing, ever since Tortorella took over for the Vegas Golden Knights. They are actually undefeated, so that is that's huge. That's very impressive. I would see, like I talked about it last time, I don't think that their plans were for him to be the head coach outside of just being this interim head coach for them ever since they got rid of Bruce. But I don't know. I would make him an offer, man. See if he wants to stick around for another whole year, even if it's just for 1 year, and see what they can do. Because I mean, they have lost one game, I think, in regulation, but I mean, not in regulation, in extra time. But I mean, this has been a pretty good run. I mean, we're talking about a team that was third in the division, looked like they could have even fell to a wild card spot, and then hasn't lost a game in regulation, and ended up winning the Pacific. So, I mean, kudos to him and the Golden Knights. I sure don't like it, but you know, it was really fast, man, how they came back. So yeah, again, I would just see if maybe this is what they need. Maybe this type of coach is going to get them back into a Stanley Cup. And I mean, we're going to find out now. It's playoff season, baby. But yeah, so I think, oh, and also, you know, it should be said, Colorado Avalanche, congratulations to them. They were the best team in the league this season. So, I mean, I think we've seen that quite some time ago, that they were going to wind up being the best team. But their goalies, both of their goalies, have been incredible all season long. So, I think that that's going to be everything. We had already talked last time about what happened with the New York Islanders, why they didn't make the playoffs, that their head coach got fired, Patrick Waugh, Peter DeBoer took over. Yeah, so now let's get into the NBA playoffs. Okay, so as you just seen, that's all the matchups right there. So now let's get down to the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Wild. They're going to be the second game that's on today. Right now, I believe it's probably almost over by now. Cleveland is playing right now. And I don't know what the score is, obviously. I'm not watching it right now. But Cleveland and Toronto. Toronto actually won the regular season series 3-0. For the Denver Nuggets, actually, let's just stay with Cleveland and Toronto for a second here. So, let's wipe it because I'm not even watching it. But the Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, Denver took the regular season series 3-1. And, one of the most memorable performances probably of the season really was Christmas Day when Jokic went off for 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. And they actually ended up winning in overtime, and he had 18 of those 56 in OT. And we all know how great Joker is, but Peyton Watson may not return until later in the series if he even is able to come back within the first round of the playoffs. He's out, I believe, with a hamstring injury. So, yeah, that's kind of big, really, for both sides, because for Denver, that's one of your better defenders outside of Aaron Gordon. And same thing with Minnesota. That's huge for them because without Peyton being in there, that gives them a little bit more. They can attack some of these, I don't want to say weaker defenders, but, not as good as Peyton Watson. So, and with LA, one of the last games of the regular season, we've seen both Doncic and Austin Reeves go out in the same game. Doncic, we don't think that he's going to be back for the first round at all. Maybe for like a game 7, but I mean, hamstrings are tough, man. And for AR, it's a much more serious injury that I don't know if he would be able to come back at all. Maybe if they got to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think anybody thinks outside of LA that that's even going to happen. And the most notable matchup here is, what everybody is thinking about, the two GOATs, KD versus LeBron. LeBron's going to have to do a lot at this point in his career. Not to say that it's too much on his shoulders. However, they did just recently kind of put him back to, just a role player, which is the first time in his career, and now he's going to have to go back to being superstar, the number one on the Lakers. And I think that they're getting back Marcus Smart. I believe he was hurt. And they got talent. They really do have talent on their team, even without Luka and without AR, but it's just not, it doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere close to enough to what they need to be able to beat a team like the Houston Rockets right now. In the regular season, though, they did actually best the Rockets 2-1. New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. This one is going to be interesting. I got to be honest. New York did win the regular season 2-1. All 3 games were won on the road, which is pretty crazy. Brunson averaged 29.3 points per game versus Atlanta, and he actually scored 7 straight points versus the Hawks on April 6th, which snapped the Hawks' 13-game win streak at home. So, Atlanta, I think they could maybe steal a couple, but nobody really expects, just like every other team, like nobody except for the home team's fans, for Atlanta's fans rather, expect them to be able to have enough to overcome the New York Knicks. They've looked really impressive at times this year. They've also looked a little inconsistent at times, but overall, I think we have the same feelings about the Knicks that we did just a season ago, that they should be, in the Eastern Conference Finals. However, they will probably wind up having to play the Celtics in the next round. If all the top 4 seeds win, that's who they're going to have to play. I don't know, unless Detroit somehow loses in the first round to Orlando, I guess that would be the only way, really, that they wouldn't have to play Boston in the second round. But, so in this one, some of the matchups, C.J. McCollum, Alexander Walker, obviously, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker versus guys like Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Jalen Johnson. And then you got Kat and Onyeka Okongwu. So that's a very good matchup. Especially because I don't know. I've never liked seeing Anthony Towns as a center. I've always seen him more as a power forward. I know when he did that, his days in Minnesota, it left a little something, like you wanted to see a little bit more out of him. But they kind of started to phase him out because Ant just took over. Rudy Gobert is obviously going to be the big that you want over Kat for your center. But yeah, here I'm interested to see how that's going to go between him and Okongwu. Okongwu's, I think, a very underrated player, to be honest with you. And so, all right, let's see what else I got here. Oh, yeah. So I said earlier about that. Okay, never mind. So you know what? That's going to be, I guess, everything I got on NBA for right now until we get to... Oh, here you go. I forgot about that stat. Cat averaged 28.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 63% from the field in the regular season series against the Hawks. So that's something, I think that he will have to step up, at some point. In the first round, I think that he doesn't really have to do a ton for them to beat Atlanta. Again, nothing against Atlanta. But down the stretch, especially when they play a team like Boston, if that's who they wind up seeing him in the next round or in the championship, they're going to need a lot out of Karl Anthony Towns. It can't just all be on the shoulders of Jalen Brunson. So yeah, now we're going to get into NFL. Okay, so it may not be exactly in the order that you just seen there, but with the NFL, there's a couple of things that has been talked about recently. Obviously, the NFL draft is getting ready to come up next week. And one thing that we heard about a week or so ago is the news coming out of Cleveland with Myles Garrett. He hasn't really been around the facility. He's, notably upset and voices frustrations. It seemed like he was one of the only people maybe pushing for Jim Schwartz to become their head coach. They went in another way, obviously. They ended up hiring the offensive coordinator from the Baltimore Ravens as now their head coach. And, so outside of that, I don't really see what else would be bothering him. I mean, last year, before he ended up getting his new deal, he was saying that he really wants to play for a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, we get it, But then he also accepted the contract. We don't really know if he was just trying to leverage himself into a bigger deal, which, he definitely deserves, obviously. The man is the best edge rusher in the league. He proved it. He's proven it year after year, really. But last year, he set a whole new record for sacks with 22. And, now you can't help but wonder, is it the same thing? Is he just trying to get a little bit more money? Or does he actually want out this time? Because it would be tough for any team right now to try and trade for him. But, if somebody did want to actually try to trade for him, some of the teams that I would think would make a little bit of sense here, not that this team really needs another edge rusher, but the Philadelphia Eagles and for AJ Brown, though, if they were to try to even do that, I guess it would kind of make sense to, especially with the cap number that he's at for Myles Garrett, to maybe try to trade for AJ Brown, but I don't foresee that happening. The Niners, I guess the 49ers could also be another potential suitor. The Dallas Cowboys, which that I think there's knowing Jerry Jones, there's some way that he could probably figure out how to get that done. The Los Angeles Rams are another team that analysts have been discussing that maybe that would be a team that would call Cleveland. But as of right now, he has a no-trade clause. So if he requests a trade, the Browns must honor it, but he also has to ask for it, which we don't know. We don't really know yet. We don't know enough. It's still too early into the offseason. I guess within the next month or so, we'll hear some things. I don't think that that's going to be one of these potentially huge deals that's going to happen on draft day. And the other thing is, the other part, like I was saying with A.J. Brown, supposedly he really doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be in Philly. But, if you traded him to Cleveland, he's not going to want to be there, right? You would think that he wouldn't want to be there. They don't really have a proven, talented veteran yet. You can't really say anything about Deshaun Watson. We haven't seen him really play meaningful ball in how many years now. Sure, if he can get back to the form that he was in Houston, I've mentioned this before, that would be great. That would be unbelievable. And you get an A.J. Brown with that same guy that you had that was ripping the ball in Houston, that was a Pro Bowler. That would be crazy good, And with all the young talent that they have last year that were surrounding Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, the Browns could even maybe possibly, I don't want to, it sounds crazy, but if Deshaun Watson goes back to playing the way that he was, you keep Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, and some of these other weapons that they had. I know Njoku's not going to be there, but the rookie from last year who's very good. And then you also have the running backs, the 2 rookie running backs from last year that were very good. And then you bring in A.J. Brown along with that defense. I mean, without Myles Garrett, there'll still be a decent defense, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You never know. But that's probably just a dream in Ohio and Cleveland. And yeah, so in other news, with the Giants, it's still looking pretty bad. We still don't know what's going to happen with Dexter Lawrence. They haven't really talked a lot about giving him another deal. He wants upwards of, I think the number was $30 million average per year. And I mean, yeah, last year his numbers did take a little bit of a dip, but just like I think it was Brian Burns that came out the other day and said the Giants would not be the Giants without Dexter Lawrence. And honestly, I believe that. I mean, the man is it would be impossible to replace the production that he has put forth for them in the past several years. They got to figure something out with him. And then the biggest news really out of the NFL is about the Houston Texans. We already talked about the CJ Stroud thing. They exercised a 5th-year option. They're probably going to wait a little bit. I mean, I don't know if they're going to wait to extend him till after the year's over or maybe at some point during the season. But we knew that it wasn't going to take long before Will Anderson Jr. received his contract extension. He got a 3-year, $150 million deal with $134 million guaranteed, plus a no-trade clause. So, bravo to Will Anderson. He's an incredible player. He is the staple for that defense, really. I mean, they have Danielle Hunter. They have other guys, too. We talked about how great the DBs are in the back. But, yeah, man, Will Anderson deserves this. I would have thought that he would have got like a 4-year deal, but hey, in 3 years, he's just going to get paid again. I don't see him, slowing down anytime soon. I think he's only going to get better. I think he's the type of edge rusher that'll wind up at some point. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough to take down Myles Garrett's record now at this point. We've seen how tough it was just for Garrett to get the record. But I think Will Anderson may come close to that record within these next 3 years. So, don't sleep on that. And don't sleep on the Houston Texans. I think that they're going to be very good this year. And I fully do expect to see CJ at some point, whether it's during the year or at the end of this season. I think he's also going to get a big payday. Okay, so now I have this segment that I like to call Who You Got. So since basketball playoffs and hockey playoffs are here, we're just going to do those two. I have another one for football, but I really just want to finish this off here. We're going to start with, now obviously the Clippers are out of the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard is out. But we're going to do James Harden or Kawhi Leonard. So when you look at this year, James, both of them actually played very, very good this year. They were consistent all throughout. Neither one of them really missed a lot of time, especially for Kawhi. That has always been a thing in the past that people always would say. He always sat more than he played, or it seemed like the smallest little thing would keep him out for a lengthy period of time. So this year, Harden actually was 17th in points per game with 23.6 points. Kawhi had 27.9. That was 6th in the NBA. Then you have rebounds per game. Harden had 4.8. Kawhi had 6.4. Assists per game. Kawhi isn't really an assist guy. He averaged a little over 3.5. He was 63rd in the league. Assist for Harden, he had 8. That was 4th best in the league. Both of them had over a steal per game. Harden just barely. Kawhi almost 2 steals per game. He was 4th in the league with 1.9. 3-point percentage, Harden averaged 37.5% this year, and Kawhi averaged 38.7% from the perimeter. Field goal percentage, Harden had 43.5%, Kawhi was 50.5%. Free throw percentage went to Kawhi at 89.2%, whereas Harden had 88.4%. Harden had 20 double-doubles, which was 21st in the league. Kawhi was 96th best with 5. And Kawhi did not have any triple-doubles. Harden had 2, which I feel like was kind of low for him. My other one, I really like this one because this trade, I've been discussing this all year long. The trade that the Flyers and the Ducks had, where Trevor Zegras left Anaheim for Philly, Cutter Gauthier the opposite way. He's in Anaheim. And, okay, so I did not update from the very last game. So Gauthier's numbers are probably actually a little better than this. But points, total points for the season, I have Gauthier with 68. He may have ended up with 69 or 70. I'm really not sure. But he was, when I did this, he was tied for 54th. Whereas Trevor Zegras was 1 point at the time that I did this under him. He was 55th with 67 points. Total goals, again, I'd have to go back and look. I don't believe Cutter had a goal in the very last game in the regular season. But so Cutter had 40. He was tied for 11th. Whereas Zegras had 26, tied for 65th. Assist, Zegras had 41 and Cutter had 28. The plus-minus rating, Trevor had 0, Cutter had a -2. Time on ice per game, a little bit more to Trevor by about a little over a minute. Although I guess it kind of dropped probably, I would assume, because Cutter did miss some time. He ended up with 17 minutes and 13 seconds per game, whereas Zegras had 18 minutes and 43 seconds per game. Power play goals went to Cutter with 11, tied for 20th. Zegras was tied for 29th with 10, so just one less. Power play assist, that was power play goals. Power play assist, 13 goes to Zegras, 8 for Cutter. Total shots, again, I didn't get to update this, but around 280 roughly for Cutter, which would be about 6th best, whereas Zegras had 167 shots, which is 103rd. Shot percentage actually went to Zegras with 15.6%. Cutter had 14.5. Game-winning goals also went to Cutter with 7. He was tied for 10th. 5 for Zegras, tied for 29th best. Face-off wins went to Zegras with 131. Cutter had 102. Face-off losses, 253 of those for Zegras, 104 for Cutter. Face-off win percentage, 49.5 for Gauthier and 34.1 for Zegras. Shootout attempts, 12 for Trevor Zegras and 2 for Cutter. So Zegras was actually second with this stat, and Cutter was tied for 107th. So obviously that's very lopsided. Shootout goals was 6 for Trevor Zegras, 2 for Cutter, and shootout percentage, obviously 2 for 2. That's 100%. Tied for first, whereas Zegras was tied for 30th at 50%. So Zegras, his numbers do outweigh 8 to 7 Cutters, and also I told you everything about the Kawhi versus Harden. Kawhi's numbers were double, 6 to 3. So I just want to see what you guys think, really. So if you want to leave some comments and let me know what you think. Do you think Cutter or Zegras had the better year, or not really a better year, but just who do you think is better in general, really? Same thing between Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. That one, obviously, I did that because when they split the team up and traded them. So now, really all I have left, I did want to mention the NBA thing with Doc Rivers. I don't know if anybody's seen. I'm sure a lot of people did. Doc Rivers not only stepped down, but he also just retired. I believe it was yesterday the news came out. He did retire from being a coach in the NBA. Now, I don't know what exactly that means in terms of the discussions were when he stepped down that he would be probably working for them in some way, shape, or form within the upper office. I don't know if he's still going to have like an advisory type of role or something there. And the other thing is Giannis, what's going to happen there? We've all seen what's going on. Doesn't look great. I really don't think Giannis wants to leave that city, but in terms of the team that they have, I mean, he knows that they're not anywhere near another championship run, and I don't know if he would really want to stick around for a whole nother rebuild. Plus, he said himself that he has not yet heard anything about any type of contract coming his way from Milwaukee. So it's been discussed that they could maybe look to move him in the offseason. There's a couple of teams that are looking at him that have been discussed. I don't know so much out of those particular teams that they've said anything, but like the Knicks is one team that's constantly brought up. The Miami Heat is another one. So, I mean, hey, man, if I'm Giannis, I'm going to go ahead, and if it's certainly one of those two teams, I'd rather go to New York. They seem a little bit closer right now than Miami, but everything happens for a reason. I wonder what would happen to his brothers at that point, and I don't know. We'll see how all that pans out in the next couple of months, really, because right now it's playoff time, and Milwaukee's not there. So, sorry about that. So lastly, as you just seen, I'm going to go ahead and make my picks. So I can't really do the Cleveland-Toronto one because at this point I'm sure the game is over by now. But I was going to pick Cleveland. I don't know what happened, but we can scratch that one. We don't got to count it. Denver, the Nuggets game has already started. I'm going to have to start it from the beginning, but I'm going to take Denver over Minnesota. And again, this is just per game basis. I'm just talking about game one. I'm going to take the Knicks over the Hawks. The Lakers in Houston, I kind of been going back and forth because, again, with the series, I believe Houston's going to win and probably a gentleman's sweep. I do think the Lakers will get one game, though. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be tonight. Screw it. I'll take the Lakers just for tonight. And then tomorrow, because I'm not going to be back doing another episode and probably until about Monday or Tuesday, so I'm going to make some picks for tomorrow as well. I'm not doing every game, but tomorrow I like, for just game one, I like Philly over Boston. I also like OKC over Phoenix with Jalen Green, the way that he's been playing, phenomenal. The question is can he do what he did for 3 straight games? And not only that, but OKC is OKC. It's a completely different animal than the Golden State Warriors or even the Portland Trailblazers for that reason, for that fact. Orlando and Detroit, I'm going to go with the Magic to upset Detroit in Detroit for the very first game. NHL, I got Carolina over Ottawa. I also have Dallas over Minnesota. I have Pittsburgh beating Philly for game one. The series does start in Pittsburgh. And then tomorrow for NHL, I'm going to have the Montreal Canadiens to take down Tampa Bay in the first game at Tampa. I also have the Sabres over the Boston Bruins, and wait for it, the Golden Knights in Utah. I'm going to take Utah in the first game. I mean, again, they won the season series in the regular season, 1-2. Plus, again, Vegas is kind of due a loss at some point. I ultimately think that they're going to win the series, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to take Utah in the first game. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what all your picks are. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or not. Anything that I've talked about, really. Leave me some comments. Please subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Like, I'm still kind of getting used to this, so I am kind of new to this. But I'm going to try and be a little more consistent with it. And, again, you can find Elite Sports Talk on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. I also have a Substack. I got an IG, a Facebook page. I got everything. I'm trying to bring on more popularity, and hopefully in the future I'll start having people on the show with me. But thank you guys very much for everything, and let's enjoy the playoffs.